Hello, welcome to this week's Forex Review here at xm.com. I'm Rafi Barajan, currency analyst, and here with me is our chief economist, Michalis Solanidis. Michalis, we just had the non-farm payrolls report out of the US, but let's first start with the euro because the euro made some impressive gains this week. We had the ECB's meeting minutes of the June policy meeting. What was such a surprise at the minutes that made the markets react so strongly?
Well, it was, I doubt that it was just the minutes for the reactions, but they definitely showed that the ECB board is definitely thinking more and more about when they are going to rein in their very, very loose monetary policy. Okay, they tapered QE already since April, but I think they are now getting ready for the next step. We don't know when that will be. I mean, we are getting some conflicting reports, but it seems that with an improving outlook, this is something that they are considering. Of course, inflation is pretty weak still in the Eurozone, so we are going to have to watch that. Nevertheless, the euro gained. I think what characterized the week was because of the July 4th holiday, the Independence Day holiday in the United States. Monday and Tuesday were kind of slow because from Monday afternoon, the U.S. trading fell quite low. There weren't that many important announcements. And then we condensed the week. There were quite a few more announcements on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, culminating, of course, in the non-farm payrolls just a while back. Also, interestingly, the yen was a loser on the week because we had a Bank of Japan intervention. We had an increase in bond yields, and the Bank of Japan tried to stop because, if you remember, they have a yield target of 0 for their 10-year yield. So when they saw it going to 0.1, they thought it was time for action.
Now let's go to the dollar because we had pretty strong ISM data, both the manufacturing and non-manufacturing. And today's non-farm payrolls, the headline figure, came in above expectations. But on the other hand, we didn't see too much of a reaction in the markets, at least with regards to the dollar-yen pair. So can you please give us a few more details?
We had a beat on the non-farm payrolls, absolutely. They came in at 222,000 against 179,000 expected by economists. But I think the weakness in the wage data and wage growth kind of moderated this positive signal because analysts were expecting a month-on-month growth rate of 0.3. Instead, we got 0.2%, and last month's 0.2% gain was revised down to 0.1%. And without stronger wage growth, it's going to be difficult to have the inflation that is going to really push the Fed to be more proactive in raising interest rates. So I think that it was a mixed report for the dollar. We had a slight increase, a tick up in the unemployment rate to 4.4% from 4.3%, but one could also say that the increase was in the participation rate from 62.7 to 62.8%. So overall, I think it was a mixed report, and the markets didn't seem to react very strongly. It's not something that is going to take the Fed off the course that it's in. And the Fed, I don't think it's in a hurry to raise again this year, so it's going to be waiting and see. But also, Rafi, why don't you tell us what we should expect next week? What will be the key highlights?
Well, I guess the key highlight will be the Bank of Canada policy meeting. When together with the US employment data, we also had Canadian employment data, which surprised on the upside. The unemployment rate fell to 6.5% in June. So this does give us increased probability that we could see a rate hike on July the 12th by the Bank of Canada. We saw the Governor, Stephen Poloz, already several times actually over the past couple of weeks signaling that rate hike is on the cards very soon in Canada. Also coming up, we have UK unemployment data, which should be interesting given that we've had some weak data this week for the UK that hurt the pound. We also have Chinese data that's going to be important. We've got Chinese inflation and trade as well. And out of the US, we're going to have US inflation, retail sales, and the preliminary reading of the University of Michigan Consumer Confidence Index. So slightly quieter week compared to this week, but still a few things that should make it interesting.
The US data is all happening on Friday, so that's going to be like inflation, retail sales, and the University of Michigan. Indeed. And it's also the last point is that it's very interesting to see that the prospect of tighter monetary policy in Canada is set against the very volatile oil price. It went up, then it came down again this week, so this was a lot of volatility, but ending up relatively weak. So thank you very much, Rafi, for your input. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.